Xochitl Mora with the City of McAllen. Welcome to your McAllen Minutes. If you missed the McAllen City Commission meeting of May 26th, don't worry. Here's a brief rundown of what was discussed. The meeting with all commissioners was called to order by Mayor Jim Darling, who led the Pledge of Allegiance while Commissioner Quintanilla led the invocation. Under the consent agenda, commissioners approved a grant application to the Texas State Library and Archives Commission CARES Act grant program in the amount of $50,000 with no match required to purchase 50 internet hotspot devices, including service to help increase community access to vital digital technologies and services. The grant also allows for funding initiatives that prevent, prepare, or respond to the COVID-19 emergency. The grant, if received, will also be used to purchase plexiglass sneeze guards at service desks at the McAllen Public Library. Under bids and contracts, commissioners approved an award of contract to sole bidder Ancita RV of Bernie in the amount of $90,766.63 for the purchase of a new 2020 31-foot police motorhome vehicle. The vehicle will have multiple purposes, including being used as a command center and for other community events. The funding comes from the City of McAllen Capital Funds projects and is under budget. The new RV will replace the outdated 1998 unit, which will be sent as surplus to McAllen's Public Works Department. Commissioners also approved a contract for $20,000 to Island Pyros of South Padre Island for a 4th of July fireworks display. The contract is for 3 years with an option to extend for 2 years in 1-year increments. Under Ordinances, commissioners authorized the McAllen City Attorney to serve as chair of a coalition of Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council cities in response to the Texas Gas Service Cost of Service Adjustment filing and authorizing the law firm of Lloyd Gosling to represent the coalition. Commissioners approved a program amendment to the fiscal year 2018-2022 Consolidated Plan and Strategy for CDBG and home programs to include funding projects that focus on economic development for direct financial assistance to for-profit businesses, micro-enterprise assistance, rental housing, subsidies, and planning, all in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic. Commissioners also approved program and budget amendments to the fiscal year 2019-2020 Annual Action Plan for CDBG programs to administer $1,005,274 in CDBG COVID-19 CARES Act funding. Commissioners authorized the submittal of a grant application for the City of McAllen to the Federal Emergency Management Agency under the FY 2020 Texas Division of Emergency Management Coronavirus Relief Fund. The grant request is for $4.5 million with $1.5 million in local match for expenses related to staffing, purchase and rental of equipment and supplies, as well as contractual work. Commissioners also authorized the submission of 2 grant applications to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, for the FY 2019 Emergency Food and Shelter Program. The first grant is for the Phase 37 program, and the second grant is for the CARES program under COVID-19. Both programs support local food and shelter services for mass shelter facilities and local government agencies to supplement and expand ongoing efforts to provide shelter, food, and supportive services. Each grant request is for up to $100,000 with no local match required. Commissioners also approved a grant application to the Texas Office of the Governor Public Safety Office Criminal Justice Division for funding under the FY 2020 Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding for projects that prevent, prepare for, and respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency. The grant request is for $93,024 with no local match required for the purchase of protective equipment and supplies needed to adequately equip its hazmat law enforcement unit. Finally, commissioners also approved to accept a grant from the Federal Aviation Administration CARES Act to offset capital expenses for the McAllen International Airport. The grant, in the amount of $4,016,251, is for the continued safe and efficient maintenance and operation of the airport. The grant will allow the McAllen International Airport to recover 100% of operating costs associated with running the airport. No local match is required. Under Manager's Report, McAllen City Engineer Barrera gave a status update of all engineering projects, including updates on many of the drainage improvement projects, including the Kennedy Avenue Drainage Project. Paving for that project will be completed in 1 year to allow the infrastructure work below to settle properly. A status update on the Bicentennial Boulevard expansion project also highlighted that even with rain delays, the project is moving forward rapidly. McAllen City Planner Edgar Garcia gave a brief update on the subdivision monthly report, including that 8 new subdivision applications were received, including 5 residential with 445 residential lots. McAllen Parks and Recreation Department Director Mike Hernandez gave an update on various parks projects, including installing emergency call boxes at various parks throughout the city, the completion of the improvements to the airport park, including the addition of a family restroom, and the upcoming all-inclusive park to be built at Suarez Park. Commissioners discussed how to move forward with 4th of July activities, and while various ideas were discussed, what was decided was that this year the City of McAllen will not host any mass gathering festivity for Independence Day, including a parade. Commissioners also decided to move forward with an agreement with Schneider Electric to advertise a request for proposal for financing options to move forward with upgrading equipment to be more energy efficient at several City of McAllen facilities. Under the Mayor's report, Mayor Darling gave a report on the CARES Act funding and discussions with Hidalgo County, who received the FEMA funding for local municipalities. While the City of McAllen submitted an application outlining how it would intend to spend the money, Hidalgo County Commissioners were still having discussions and meetings for next steps on how to best distribute the money. The City of McAllen is slowly reopening its facilities and also helping and monitoring other businesses that were allowed to open or expand their business opening, all following the Governor's orders and CDC guidelines. We hope you enjoyed this recap of your McAllen City Commission meeting. Meetings are set for the 2nd and 4th Monday of each month. We also air the entire meeting on the McAllen Cable Network Spectrum 1300 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. For the City of McAllen, I'm Xochitl Mora.